the theme of this conversation is adapting to change. And I think this is an incredible moment to be calling adaptive leadership forward. And so what that means is, how do we help our communities adapt to the future that's coming? Especially when people are resistant to change. Y'all know that, right? Got a little video to show you about just how easy you can print up a 3D house, right? Another example of automated driving cars delivering pizzas.
So we just ordered Domino's. This is the self-driving car that everyone kind of gave me some trouble about. See? It's one of the only cars that stops at this stop sign right here. Yep, this is it. So Johnny has texted a code to kind of get the pizza out of here, which we love. So here's it turning in. Oh, it gets so scary. But it pulls up. Johnny just pulls up to the iPad, punches in his code. Yes! And so he gets his pizza.
The container is open. You can safely remove your order now.
Man, never before has there been a time for adaptive leaders, right? These are not technical problems. We can solve any number of things. Hell, we're flying around in vehicles at this point. But some of the more basic things that we need to talk about, we're still struggling to get basic public will, people to lean in to that planning process. How do you support things that actually embrace and enhance a community? Building public will is probably one of the most critical issues of our time for a variety of reasons, some of which you already know, right? This is probably what often takes place in communities, whether or not this is the sort of, the reds and the the blues fighting about things, but any number of interests in your community. The developers are dealing with the community-based organizations, the employer, all kinds of competing interests, right, have to negotiate and talk about how we together move forward to improve our communities. And it's tough when you're trying to broker solutions in the context of all these competing conversations. What's key as adaptive leadership, right, that we have to engage folks more thoughtfully than ever before. For a variety of reasons. Some folks are struggling there. We talk about low-income folks and moderate-income families that are struggling. Most middle-class folks are about 2 paychecks, right, away from disaster. People, we are sort of overwritten by crisis. Every day on the news, there's a crisis. So when you come out with this big headline that says, we got an affordable housing crisis in Minnesota, nobody's coming to that party. Literally, who's coming to that? One of the things that's really important in messaging is these three issues that you're trying to get across. One, the question is, and whether people embrace you, is do they trust you? Right? Is there a sense that they trust you so that the message that you're providing, right, makes sense to them? They don't immediately sort of get their back up, right, against what you're trying to say. 2 is, do they feel like there's a sense of belonging? Do they belong to the folks you're rocking for? Right? Do they have a sense that you are rocking for everybody in the community, or just those low-income families over there that are going to benefit from those policies? The third issue is stake. Do I have a stake in your success? So when you win that policy, you win that legislation, you win that ordinance, do I win? Or are you just going to take my taxpayer money and do something and I don't get anything back? I want to challenge y'all a little bit. One of the things we found out in the research, things that go horribly wrong for us, is talking about housing affordability and affordable housing. How you go? So, right? Isn't that a challenge? How do you not say housing affordability? How do you not say affordable? And this is what we're talking about. You want to redirect that to the availability, right, of housing at different price points. The cost of a quality home, not housing, right? The cost of a quality home in this community really puts them out of reach for a whole lot of folks who work here, who need to be here. That's a very different conversation. Now we're not talking about people spending so much money on this or that. We're really talking about what's available for folks. That's a different conversation. How do I win, right, when we build more affordable housing? I don't need affordable housing. I'm a high-income African-American. I live in the suburbs. Tell me how I win when I lean in. And don't give me this gobbledygook about, everybody will be better. No, I want specifics. Tell me how I win. Tell me why this matters. We need the people who need affordable housing. Not they need affordable housing. We need the people who need them. Like, think about your life and your lifestyle and the fact that there are a whole series of people that you never probably even think about who make your life possible, right? Who contribute to the well-being of your family, and you never even think about where they live. We need them. On one side you got the NIMBYs, on the other side you got the YIMBYs, right? And a little bit of a tug of war, because the NIMBYs don't want to build anything, and the YIMBYs, they want to build everything, but they only wanted to build it for middle class folks. And so a whole range of issues that we know have been central to affordable housing get left out. And the challenge for us in our field is we're asking folks who have a lot to give up something, right? Equity is about giving people what they need according to their own needs. But the reality of what's happening the incomes are so out of whack, right? That most of what you have is and your solutions are asking folks, right? This is the question that we're asking folks a lot in affordable housing is to get off of one of those crates or some of those crates and give it to somebody else so that somebody else can see the game. Listen, that is a losing proposition. I'm just telling you. And I know that's hard. That is a losing proposition. Folks who have resources and a great community and they got all the privilege, they're not getting off of that. They're not, right? And this is the challenge that we're having in terms of thinking about taxation, a whole range of issues. They're not getting off of that. So the challenge for us is not to try to convince high-income earners to figure out how to, right, move people in their neighborhood, because you're not going to do it. The challenge for us is to figure out ways of disruption to knock down the damn fence, right? Because once you knock down the fence, everybody can see the game. And you can stay on the top of that damn thing if you want to, right? But everybody has a chance to see the game. And if seeing the game is what we're after, that is to say in this case, it's about having a decent place to live, right? That's a whole different strategy. There are a number of additional things that I can share with you about how you build a case, but the most important thing I want you to sort of take away from this sort of brief presentation is that we have to do a better job of engaging folks, right? It's not that people don't care, they do, but a part of, if we really want people to be with us as adaptive leaders, we have to lean in differently in ways that make people feel like there's something that worth leaning in for. I started the conversation. We live in interesting times, and they're about to get a lot more interesting, aren't they? So I want to stop there. I hope that we're going to have a whole conversation with a panel about how we begin to do that and how we land some of these bigger recommendations in the places where we are in the communities. And I hope that I've given you lots of ideas for how to begin to do that. Thank you.